there is no one truth then. You know, there is no one way to God. Or you might say there is no need of a Savior. That the idea of sin itself is archaic, and superstitious, and outdated, and parochial. That there is no duality in life of good and evil. Like Eckhart Tolle would say, people of his ilk. And what's interesting to me about that is that although I think he is, this is Tolle now, Tolle, Eckhart, and people like him, New Agers, a lot of Buddhists, Taoists, Universalists, you know, they don't see a need for a Savior, and they just look at all of humankind as being one with the universe, you know, that our molecular structure is exactly the same as the atomic structure that creates stars, galaxies. And because of all that, you know, clearly we are just products of, you know, we're just material developments from random or spontaneous combustible gases. And that if you just look at human nature and culture throughout the ages, you see some commonalities of people reaching beyond themselves, looking for meaning beyond what can be observed. So there's, you know, in almost every culture you'll find some elements of seeking spirituality or making meaning out of what is unseen, what lasts, you know, how life just continues to go on and on. So if you look at it like in a materialist kind of way, and in that way, and you know, we're all just matter. And I guess what I want to say to that is, even though I find that to be a really narrow and short-sighted view, you know, it's really based on what can be observed, and then from what can be observed, it just, you know, the whole theory, it just follows from one observation to another, just only what can be seen. Then I think because of that, you know, there's, you know, by definition, there's going to be definite limitations to that. You know, you won't be able to have explanations for what's unseen. Now, having said all that, you could be of this materialist, universalist kind of view. Excuse me. And you could still be very loving, humble, a great servant in your community. You could be a better example of a loving being in this world, better than, you know, some passionate religious disciple. I don't doubt that for a second. And I believe that it's part of God's grace and mercy that He responds to a genuine search for meaning and our place in the universe that is selfless and wanting to be useful for the benefit of others, I personally see that that's, it's, even though it's materialist and universalist and not believing in a personal God, I think just that honorable position kind of tugs at God's heartstrings, so that there is an element of truth and beauty and power that he allows to be perceived and animated in someone with that disposition. And I think that there are people who could believe a lot of the things that I believe, as far as Christ being the center, and, for the most part, traditional kind of Christian doctrines, and that these people who believe all these doctrines, Christian doctrines, can fall miserably short of the of expressing divine attributes, even by comparison to those Eckhart Tolles of the world who are materialist and universalist and don't show any faith in God the way we, understand it, as monotheists or, in any, compared to any kind of religion. So I'm not saying it doesn't matter what you believe, because I know there's people out there they think that it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is, what matters more than what you believe is how you live your life. And that's why I think, some of these people who, you would think are like, wow, they believe that, and that's like, I don't believe anything close to that, but yet they're getting closer to your idea of following God by their compassionate behavior in life than you yourself are with all of your doctrines and all of your, the maze that you create for yourself, that you have to stay within these parameters. And they look more free. They seem more free, more powerful, more loving, more creative, more intelligent, of more service to society than you do with all of your, cozy, secure little doctrines. And I told you why I believe that. Because you could take somebody who believes everything in this book. This is the Holy Bible. It's not the Catholic Bible. It's the other one. All right? You could believe all of this, and of course you would have your own interpretation of what it means. But just say you believe, the traditional things. But because of the condition of your heart, and that you don't really consider it a priority to be non-judgmental of others. You don't consider it a priority to always look for an opportunity to serve someone else. you don't always look for an opportunity to bless someone with something you have, whether it's something you say or something you materially own, then all of your doctrines don't mean anything.